Chelsea lose the Carabao Cup final against Man City on penalties after keeping it scoreless for 120 minutes. The Blues set up a lot more defensively, stopped Man City from creating any sort of real big chances until extra time, and actually played really well themselves, especially after the hour mark had passed. Chelsea were really good, but penalty misses by Jorginho and David Luiz, plus Kepa letting one just slip through, see Sarri miss out on his first ever major trophy. To find out everything about the game, the Kepa controversy late on, and what tonight really showed us, be sure to watch this review until the end. Hello there guys, and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my review of the Chelsea vs Man City game in the Carabao Cup final that we lost on penalties after keeping it scoreless, after keeping it 0-0 for 120 minutes. And today I'm just absolutely gutted. I'll tell you that much. I'm absolutely gutted. Like, I expected us to pretty much be battered today. So I didn't go into this game with much hope. I would have been ecstatic had we just beaten them somehow. I wouldn't have even been that disappointed, that annoyed had we lost like 2 or 3-0. But to lose like that, nah, I'm absolutely gutted. Absolutely. But, like, we played so well. We actually played so well. Not in the first half. I didn't like that. A lot of people will like that. A lot of Chelsea will like, oh yeah, we were defensively solid. Did fuck all going forward. But yeah, great. I didn't like that. But from the 65th minute onwards, from an hour onwards, we were so good. We created chances. Not many shots on target. I'm not even sure if we had any, in all honesty. But we created good chances that we really could have scored from. And actually played really well. And then to lose like that. And right now, I'm really caught in two minds because I'm not sure whether I should make this video about Kepa or not. I don't know. I don't know what I should do right now, because what he did today was totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. You know, you cannot do that. You cannot refuse to be subbed off. You cannot just stay on the pitch and ignore your manager and his staff. You cannot just do that. Like, what is he doing? I'm going to talk about it in more detail, obviously, later on in the video. Now, getting into the review itself, of course, subscribe and, you know, let's see whether we can hit 400 likes on this video. That would be massively appreciated. But now, you know, let's get into the game itself, starting off with the lineup. And there was quite a few major surprises in there that I did not see coming at all. So Kepa, obviously, was fit. So he could start. The back four consisted of Azpilicueta and Emerson Palmieri. Marcos Alonso wasn't even in the squad. I don't know whether he's injured. He wasn't injured, mentioned as being injured on Fridays. I'm not 100% sure, but Emerson played, and he played really well, so fair play. The centre-back two were Antonio Rudiger and David Luiz, as you could expect. Then a midfield three of Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté and Ross Barkley, which we could also expect. But then a front three of Willian on the left, Pedro on the right, and Eden Hazard started up front, as Higuain was on the bench. He wasn't injured or anything, he was just on the bench. And that I thought was really interesting. I kind of get the thinking because, you know, with Hazard up front as a false nine, we beat Man City at Stamford Bridge. With Higuain up front, not that it was Higuain's fault, but still, with the striker up front, we lost 6-0. And to be honest, we also set up in a similar or the same way like we did in that home game against them. More defensive, in a flat midfield three, you know, different to usual when Jorginho is quite a bit deeper than Kanté and Kovacic or Barkley. They were more like a flat midfield three today. Plus, both wingers, you know, Pedro and William both dropped very deep, pretty much creating a midfield five, just the line of five in our midfield, you know, kind of ahead of the four defenders in a sense. I mean, I do think that we would have played with the flat midfield three. I do think that the wingers would have been pretty defensive against Man City when we lost 6-0 as well. But we were just 1-0 down after like 3 or 4 minutes anyway. So, you know, we really didn't get that final, honestly. But, you know, it was nothing much happened. You know, we stopped Man City from doing anything, but couldn't create anything ourselves, you know, either. Especially, to be honest, throughout the entire of the first half, we couldn't create anything ourselves. Whenever we had the chances to counter-attack, we messed it up somehow. With 10 minutes gone, actually, left back, you know, City's left back Zinchenko clearly tripped over Kanté following a long ball by David Luiz. Zinchenko was City's last man. Neither the referee nor VAR that was, you know, in place today intervened, and they didn't even give a foul. That was a foul, clear as day. That was a foul, and as he was the last man, that is a red card. Man City should have been down to 10 men after 10 minutes or 12 minutes or whatever it was. Wasn't given, you know, nobody's going to talk about it now. Everyone's going to talk about Kepa, but that is a red card. He should have been sent off. It's as simple as that. And for the rest of the first half, yes, we weren't 4-0 down after 25 minutes. We weren't 4-0 down at half-time, but I still didn't really enjoy that because we were just so defensive. But Sarri didn't want us to park the bus or anything. That's not what he tried to do. But, you know, we tried to play on a counter. Yes, we did try to do that, but we just couldn't. Like, we just weren't good enough in that first half to play on a counter. Whenever we had the opponent, you know, the opportunity to, we either couldn't get past City's press or just made silly mistakes, misplaced passes, just easily giving up possession, and that's why we couldn't do anything going forward. But still, you know, we were, you know, 0-0 at half time. I mean, nothing happened in that first half. All that City had in that first half was a few almost moments of half chances, but nothing serious. And we were just really good defensively. We didn't do anything going forward, but we were really good defensively, especially David Luiz was an absolute man-mountain at the back today. Like, fair play. And yeah, there was, like I said, half-time at 0-0, and going into the second half, things weren't different. Like, they pretty much started the second half the way the first half ended, except that, Aguero actually scored in the 55th minute for Man City, but thankfully it was ruled offside or disallowed, for offside, which was a correct decision, even though it was very, very close. All of it started from a corner, I think it was, that Emerson didn't clear particularly well, as he cleared it right to Otamendi at the edge of the box, who managed to get it back into the box where Aguero still was, but like I said, obviously he was offside when he put it in, so that was good. And that's when we finally started to get into it. Around the 65th minute, we had a huge chance for N'Golo Kanté after great work by Hazard. Willian just played him through with a, through ball along the ground, but just Hazard outpacing everybody, leaving Company for absolute dead. And then basically from the byline, cut it back to Kanté, who was storming on, the only one that, managed to catch up with Hazard and kind of help him out. Kanté got on the end of that, but just about put his effort out. It was very similar to the goal that he scored, when we beat them 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. This time was his weaker left foot, but similar situation. He was kind of just storming onto a cutback by Hazard, but this time we put it just about over. But that chance really gave us a spark. It initiated us. We started to play well. We started to play actual football. We started to attack. We started to, I wouldn't say dominate, but we were certainly, as good as them, if not better. We looked more dangerous. We looked like we were going to do something a lot more than Man City did at the time. And we just played attacking football while not giving up any of our defensive stability that we had throughout the game. And I think that's what Sarri tried to do today. He tried to be defensively solid. And once we kind of got the confidence, after he saw how, nervous they were against Malmo, after we got that defensive, confidence, then we would, go out and try to attack some more, which I really enjoyed. I mean, we had a couple of moments. Barkley had a shot that, didn't do well with, but that was, initially played out well to get to that point. And we had a beautiful attack that ended up with Pedro not shooting instead of shooting. But that was just incredible. I mean, we got the ball from David Luiz well inside our own half to Pedro inside City's box within, like, I don't know, 5 seconds, 10 seconds or whatever, but like at least 10 passes or whatever it was. And, along with David Luiz and Pedro, also Emerson, Barkley and Hazard were involved. But then Pedro, even though he wasn't at a perfect angle, he should have just shot, but he didn't, and tried to cut it back again, which got intercepted, which was a little bit annoying. But that's exactly the kind of football that Sarri would like to see, and what we were playing against Man City, which was great. But, we just about couldn't get it in. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi came on for Pedro, which was nice. There was about 12 minutes to go at that point. Then Ruben Loftus-Cheek also came on for Barkley in the 89th minute. Obviously, it already very much looking like extra time. And then in the last minute of injury time, actually, almost a huge chance for Eden Hazard. Like, almost could have won it there. Ruben Loftus-Cheek with a quality piece of skill in midfield to basically beat his man, like I said, in midfield, before playing the perfect through ball to Hazard. But the Belgian was just about offside. He was basically through on goal. He was basically 1-1 with the keeper, but he was just about offside, like that much, even though the ref should have let it go and, see what happens and then check on VAR because it was that tight. He could never have been certain about that. But yeah, that was, to be honest, it for the 90 minutes. But then going into extra time, well, it was a little bit similar, except that you could start to see that a lot of the players on the pitch start to get tired. Higuain then came on for Willian 5 minutes into extra time, which, was decent, even though we didn't, I felt like we actually lacked a little something when Willian came off. Also, when Pedro came off as well. Not that Hudson-Odoi was bad by any means, but Pedro just looked like he was about to do something more than Hudson-Odoi did. Maybe that was just me, but I felt like we were missing something when Willian came off. Not necessarily because Higuain came on, but just because, he gave us that pace and spark today. Willian was really good today. They were all really good today, in all honesty. And then, to be honest, it took Man City until the 20th minute of extra time to create their first big chance of the entire game. And that was a big chance. We were lucky at that point. Not that it would have mattered because we lost some penalties anyway, but at the time we were lucky. Sterling went past Emerson to get into the box, did so, then got really lucky against David Luiz as the ball kind of bounced back to Sterling after Luiz basically tackled him. And then Sterling kind of just squared it to Aguero inside the 6-yard box, and then Azpilicueta with an unbelievable block to basically stop Aguero's effort. And obviously that kept it at 0-0. And then, we have to talk about it. I'm not sure how much of a big deal I'm going to make out of it, but we have to talk about it. 2 minutes before the end of extra time, Kepa seemingly looked like his hamstring problem that kept him out of the Malmo game opened up again. It clearly looked like it already went down a little earlier already and started stretching and had a bit of treatment. And then it happened again. And Caballero was getting ready. Caballero was warming up and, putting his shirt on and gloves on and stuff. And then out of nowhere, Kepa was just stood there. No, basically just gesturing, no, he doesn't want to come off. And, everyone lost their shit. Zola started shouting around. Sarri was literally he went absolutely ballistic. He was like, just come off. And Kepa just ignored him. Kepa just ignored him. David Luiz was talking to him. I think that Azpilicueta was talking to him as well. I don't know what was going on. Obviously, I understand the situation in the sense of if he thought he was fine to play on, then fair enough. And maybe he just thought, okay, the doctors think I'm worse than I am, so I have to say that I'm good to play, which I guess makes sense. But when your manager tells you to come off, maybe he just didn't want to take the risk with the hamstring problem. Caballero is also very good at penalties, in penalty shootouts. So maybe it was a tactical decision as well. You cannot ignore when your manager wants to take you off. And he actually stayed on. And even after extra time finished, I thought, surely we're going to take him off for penalties. I think you can do that anyway, surely. I was certain of that. But even then we didn't take him off. Rudiger and Azpilicueta had to calm Sarri down. So he was looking like it was going to murder bloody Kepa. It was ridiculous. And I don't know. It was a bit mental. But Kepa can't do that. You cannot do it. In all honesty, for doing that, he should be dropped for a while. You shouldn't. You can't do that. You cannot show such amount of disrespect to your manager, to your boss. You cannot do that. That is absolutely out of order. I mean, he's probably out injured with a hamstring problem now anyway. So he won't be playing at least against Spurs, I'm assuming. But, you cannot do that. And, 2 minutes before the end of extra time. And we had ages of injury time at the end of extra time because of it. And it just looked like it affected us. It affected our players. The stadium was really weird and it just wasn't right anymore. And that situation certainly did not help the situation. I mean, Sarri was livid. He was throwing things around. He was shouting around. He was on his way down the tunnel at one point. I thought the ref sent him off for some reason, which I didn't understand. And he came back. He was just literally furious. And then, we took penalties. Jorginho stepped up with his little jumping thing that he does before taking them. Didn't score, had it saved by Ederson. Azpilicueta scored with an unbelievable strike. I forgot who scored for City, to be honest. It doesn't really matter. Then Kepa really should have saved Aguero's. Really should have done. He was doing all this fancy thing on, oh yeah, I'm here, and, kind of just trying to put off Aguero. And then he had the corner, and Aguero didn't hit it well at all. Not a lot of power right on the ground. And Kepa was on it, but he just let it slip through, and he was clearly furious with himself. Emerson then got lucky to score his one, because Ederson also got a touch on that, but, still went in the side netting. Then Kepa actually managed to save Sané's penalty, Leroy Sané's penalty. And I was like, come on, please. Because for himself, for the club, he needed to win that penalty shootout for us today, Kepa, and not let one slip through. So when he saved, Sané's, I was buzzing. But then David Luiz stepped up with his mad long run up, as he always does, as he did in 2012, as he did against Spurs, and he hit it against the post. So that was obviously gutting. City scored. Hazard then stepped up, also scored with a Panenka, which is a bit cheeky when you're one down as well. Don't really see the point of that, but he scored, a fair play. And then I forgot who the last penalty for them was, to be honest, because Sterling scored their last penalty and they won. On penalties. And it's absolutely gutting because we played so well today. I think, in my opinion, what Sarri showed today, that he is very much so adaptable. I think that he showed today that the game against City wouldn't have gone anywhere near as badly as it did had we not made that ridiculous mistake to concede the first goal within 3 minutes, and then our players just don't have the mentality to stick up, to stick up for themselves and kind of stick with it and still somehow get something from that game. We just don't have the mentality. And I think he showed that, he can adapt. He brought on Hudson-Odoi, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and, Higuain today. Yes, Higuain usually starts, of course, but it was different substitutions. Kovacic didn't come on. And we were also defensively a lot better. We changed something to, give us a better chance. Would that, would it help playing against, like that against, I don't know, Newcastle or Cardiff or something? No, because that would be, silly to just play a lot more defensively against those teams. But against Man City, he clearly did something right today. And that's why it's so gutting that we lost, because everyone's just going to talk about that we lost, that he still hasn't won a trophy, about Kepa, that he can't control the dressing room, and that's all that it's going to be about, even though I thought today was a massive positive. Yes, we lost, but I thought today was a massive positive. If you compare that to the 6-0, we held our own, we arguably were the better team, maybe not the better team, but we deserved to win just as much as Man City did, in my opinion anyway. People might disagree, but that's what I think. We were good today, and I'm absolutely gutted. I'm absolutely gutted today, and extra time penalties certainly doesn't help us going into the game against Spurs on Wednesday. That's not good either. So I'm not particularly hopeful in the game against Spurs, in all honesty. And if we lose that, I'm assuming that Sarri will be sacked if he isn't sacked tomorrow. Surely we can't sack him after losing on penalties. But yeah, to be honest, that's really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts on the game down in the comments section below. What about Kepa? What about the penalty shootout? Leave me your thoughts on all of that, because it is a bit crazy. Then obviously with Sarri as well. You know, what do you make of him today? Leave me your thoughts on it. Like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes on this video. That would be massively appreciated. Check out my social media, which is Lousif7 on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here, and also the links to both of them are down in the description, as well as my personal YouTube channel. If you could subscribe to that, that would be massively appreciated as well. And yeah, of course, also subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already, and please be sure to click the notification bell button as well, and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of the future videos. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, it's upwards and onwards, and I'll see you next time.